Good afternoon, dear students. Welcome back to ICAL Academy for Crash Course Business Studies for Class 12. Yesterday, we were discussing about the functional foremanship. That is a part of Taylor's scientific technique of management. So there we discussed all the planning, all the two segments of functional foremanship with a diagram. So let's start with this question answer session. You can see that there is a question on the screen, that is, dash is the extension of principle of division of work and specialization to the to the shop floor, and it violates the principle of unity of command, principle of division of work and specialization to the shop floor. So what will be the answer? The answer will be functional foremanship, because here everywhere, whether it is a production or planning, there you can see the specialization. Now, next one is that she or he keeps machines, materials, tools ready for operations by concerned workers. They get ready the machines whose work is described by this sequence under functional foremanship. We know that route clerk means the sequence. Repair boss, they do the repairing work, and instruction card clerk, they give the instruction. So the answer is gang boss. They keep the machines ready for the work. And now today we are going to discuss again the second technique, that is work study. What do you mean by yesterday? We just started this. What do you mean by work study? Work study comprises 4 aspects, that is method study, time study, motion study, and fatigue study. What do you mean by method study? What is time study, motion study? Let's discuss one by one. So the work should be done in a very systematic way. There we have to see the cost should be reduced, effort should be reduced, along with that increase in efficiency and productivity. Every business unit, their target is that only. Always our effort should be less and cost should be less, but we should get maximum efficiency and productivity. So work study is a generic form. There we discuss about the technique of method study and work measurement, and these techniques are used in the examination of human work in all the context. Let's see that work study, what it consists of. It consists of 2 things mainly, method study and work measurement. Now, method study is what? It comes again, fatigue study and motion study. And work measurement deals with a time study. Let's discuss one by one again. Method study, as I discussed above, it discuss fatigue study and the motion study. Okay, so let's see one by one. Again, work study. So there are 4 methods, 4 segments for work study: method study, time study, motion study, and fatigue study. Let's see what is method study. I discussed a little bit yesterday. Again, I'm continuing with this. The objective of method study is to find out one best way of doing the job. The best way of doing the job. To minimize, for what? For minimizing the production cost. Sorry. And maximize the quality and satisfaction of the customer. That should be the major aspects of method study. So minimize the production cost and maximize the quality, thus satisfy the customers. There are various methods of doing the job. We know that there are various methods of doing the job. To determine the best way, there are several parameters. Which are the parameters? Right from the procurement of raw material till the final product is delivered to the customer, every activity is a part of method study. That means the best way. There are different methods, process in the manufacturing process. There are various processes, various methods. So every method, how we can do in the best way, that comes under method study. Taylor suggested that method of production should not be decided by rule of thumb. It should not be by rule of thumb, but all the method must be tried in the organization. We have to do all on trial and basis, and we have to select the best one. That should be bringing maximum benefit with a minimum cost. That method only we cannot pick anything randomly. That is called a rule of thumb. That should not be like that. It should be systematically trial and error way. We have to practice And we have to see the best method that provides maximum benefit with a minimum cost. As per Taylor that only. So I hope you are clear about the method study means best way of doing the job in short. And through that, we should get the minimum cost of production and maximum quality with the customer satisfaction. Next one. What do you mean by motion study? It refers to the study of movement like lifting, putting objects, sitting and changing the position, etc., which are undertaken while doing a typical job. Few jobs, the movement should be very easy. Now, see, suppose I am sitting here with a laptop, then I want to take some printout. The printer should be very adjacent to me. If I keep it on after 2 or 3 rooms, that distance, then every time to take a printout, I have to go there. So there my movement will be too much, that will waste the time. So the same way in a factory, there are various movements. So motion study refers to the study of movement, study of motion, like lifting, putting objects in the machine, sitting and changing positions in the office or in the work area. Unnecessary movements are sought to be eliminated. Always unnecessary movement should be avoided and take less time to complete the job efficiently. It determines the standard number of movements of an average worker to perform it. So from this, we will be able to understand what is the standard number of movement. Every now and then we are moving from one place to another place. Definitely that is going to waste the time. Wastage of the time is wastage of cost, and that much delay in completion of the work. So eliminate, so here it is coming basic movement. We should avoid the elimination of basic movement. That is why Frank Gilbert, he said that. Frank Gilbert was said that always remove unnecessary movement. We have to eliminate. So we discussed about method study, that is best way of completion of job with a less cost, maximum benefit and the customer satisfaction. And next one is coming motion study. Minimum movement should be there. Unnecessary movement should be eliminated. We are discussing about the work study. Work study is divided into 4 segments. The first one is method study. Then it is motion study. Then comes fatigue study. What is fatigue study? Fatigue means tiredness. A person is bound to feel tired physically and mentally if she or he does not rest while working. So every worker continuously, constantly, they are working for 6 hours or 8 hours. Definitely, they will not be getting a rest, because if there is no rest, they will feel tired physically and mentally. The rest intervals are must, and that will help one to regain stamina and work again with the same capacity. This will result in the increased productivity also. So everywhere, if you even study, you need a break after every 30 minutes, because that help us to focus better. Continuously without a break, if you are sitting for a long time, that is not going to help you, or that time will not be productive. That is fatigue study. Now, fatigue study is the study of the amount and frequency of the rest intervals. Amount, how many hours or how long the people can get, or the worker can get the rest. And frequency. So if 8 hours duration, 3 times, 10 minutes each, and each time they get 10 minutes break. So time is given and the frequency also. Tired worker will reduce the efficiency, and rest time may be helpful to recoup the energy. They can rest, they can relax, they can have their refreshment. So that will help them to recoup the energy. Next one is time study. It will determine the standard time required to an average worker to complete the task. Few worker may be doing the work very fast, few may be doing very slow, but always we have, through time study, we can understand what is the average time required by a worker to complete a particular task. It helps to increase the efficiency and reduce the cost and effort. It always helps them to increase the efficiency. If we decide the time, if too fast or too less, there should be a medium on an average. So that helps them to increase the efficiency and reduce the cost and effort. If we keep a time study, particular time being, yes, to teach a Taylor's scientific technique, there should be 40 minutes. If I teach within or less than 40 minutes, you may not be knowing, or you may not be able to understand. If I teach, very slow, also you may not be very fast also. So there should be average time, standard time is required to complete every worker. On an average worker, how much time they will take. Time measuring devices are used for each element of task. Stopwatch वगैरह होता है, you people might be knowing. The standard time is fixed for the whole of the task. Every task, there will be a standard time in every factory. Taking several readings, how they decide after a lot of trial and error, they will be deciding the time for average time for every work. The method of time study will depend upon the volume and frequency of the task. Volume and frequency, how long the task is, how many times or how often it will be repeating. Task, the cycle time of the operation, that also important. Time, measurement, cost, everything they will consider. Then only they will be the method of time study. They will be deciding the time ultimately. The objective of time study is to determine the number of workers to be employed. That is also coming there. In time study, they will see one work, how much time to complete a particular task, 2 hours. Then to complete the total task, how many employees are needed. So that way they determine the number of workers. Frame suitable incentive scheme and determine labor cost. They will decide accordingly by seeing the time. They will see the number of workers. After seeing the number of workers, they will decide the labor cost. And not only that, they frame suitable incentives also. I hope you are clear with the time study, fatigue study, and motion study, then method of study. So what is again, let's recapitulate. Method study means best way of doing job with the minimum production cost and maximum benefit with the customer satisfaction. Motion study means the study of movement from one place to another. We have to fatigue study, motion study is study of movement. Now fatigue study. Fatigue study means enough interval rest should be given. Then comes time study. There should be an average standard time for average completion of a particular task. Every average worker, how much time they need. So we have to decide a standard time. I hope children, you are clear with this. Now let's go to a topic. Here you can see that the concept of work study, you can see the screen, I hope so. The concept of work study requires what? It includes time study, motion study, fatigue study, all of the above. What will be the answer? The work study includes. Just now I had shown that to you, the diagram. If you have any doubt, you can again go back to the diagram. So the work study includes what? You can see this. Work study, the diagram, you can see method study, fatigue study, time study, motion study. So I hope now you will be able to answer that. So what will be the answer? The answer will be all of the above, because it includes all 4: time study, motion study, fatigue study, and method study. Method is not given, so rest all the 3 will be considered. Coming back to one more question. Considering the fact it is difficult to find a single person with all the needed qualities, Taylor suggested appointment of a specialist through this technique. Taylor suggested that through this technique, you appoint. As per which technique? Scientific management. Identify the technique. I taught you 2 techniques. Work study, then another technique is, yesterday we discussed, that is functional foremanship. Functional foremanship means it is difficult to find one single person. So production department, specialized 4 people are there. Planning department, specialized 4 people are there. So there comes a single person with all needs, it is difficult. So he suggested a specialist through this sequence of this technique of scientific management. What is that? Functional foremanship. Under that, 8 headings, 8 specialized people, 4 under planning, 4 under production. And this we yesterday discussed. This also we discussed. All this now we discussed. So total 8 questions of this MCQ we discussed. Now children, we are moving ahead. After moving ahead, you see that there is a case study. Let's discuss this also. Vishesh completed his MBA at a reputed business school in Lucknow. He was impressed by the principles and technique of scientific management developed by F.W. Taylor. On completing his MBA, he wanted to apply scientific management in his family's business, a fast food chain of restaurant named Burger Mania. His main goal was to reduce cost with increased output. I hope you are clear with this up to this. To begin with, he wanted to develop a standard method, which would be followed throughout the organization. There comes a standard method. So he invested the traditional method through work study and unified the best practices. All this just now we discussed, best practices with a less cost. So under which we discussed this, you should know that. Or the standard method. The standard method means the best way of doing the job. Best way also we just now discussed. It is a keyword for which one method study. Okay. And then developer taking them into account all parameters right from the procurement of raw material till the delivery of the final product to the customer. He planned the best way of doing the job. So you know that. What is the question? So I said, okay, always case study. First, you will read the question thoroughly. So identify and explain the techniques of scientific management used by Vishesh to reward the workers for meeting the standard output. Vishesh also believed that each person should not only be scientifically selected, but should also be given the required training to increase efficiency. They should be selected as per their qualification. This point also yesterday we discussed. For this, he set up a special training unit called Hamburger in Bengaluru, where the workers were given the required training to learn the best method. Best method means, again, we should understand. The question is that which are the identify and explain the technique of scientific management. I taught you two techniques, functional foremanship and work study. In work study, we discussed the 4 points: method study, motion study, then what is time study, then fatigue study. Okay. At the factory, the ingredients making up a burger were strategically placed to reduce the time taken for excess movement. Now it should come to your mind. Excess movement means what will come? There will come motion study. Then above again, I discussed that the best practice. Best practice means what will come? Method study. Once you read the paragraph, so we need the technique of scientific management. We got that. Okay, method study and motion study. The standard time and other parameters were determined on the basis of work study done. Now, Burger Mania has standardized process, raw material, time, machine, trained staff, and working condition that ensure that food they send out their customers has the same high standards of excellence and level of quality is very chain or in every chain and franchisee. Everywhere the same quality they are maintaining. The application of scientific management to every aspect of restaurant operation is led to Burger Mania's widespread success because of their well-organized work, and they are following the highly standard method of doing the job. Not only in that, in standardized process, raw material, time, machinery, trained staff, everything. Because of all that, they got a widespread success. Identify and explain the technique of scientific management. We discussed 2M, that is method study and motion study. Okay. Now, because it is clearly asked to meet their standard output. Now, identify and explain the principle of scientific management that helped Vishesh in investigating the traditional method through work study and unifying the. So, you need to get the principle of scientific management. Yesterday, I taught you 4 principles of scientific management. So, which one will come? Investigating the traditional method through. Again, you will read the what he has done. You can see that food restaurant, his main goal was to reduce cost, to begin developing a standard method. He investigated traditional methods through work study and unified the best practice. The standard method, the best way of doing job, then was developed taking them into account all parameters right from the procurement or delivery of the final products. Okay. So now, again, you have to see that standard method is there. Vishesh also believed that each person should not only scientifically selected. So scientific selection, what is coming? Science, not rule of thumb. Is it correct, children? But should also be given the required training to increase efficiency. So here comes science, not rule of thumb. They should be appointed as per the qualification. Their qualification we have to see, then we are supposed to appoint them. I hope you are clear with the case study. How to read the case study, that is very important. how to read the case study. Whatever we learned or we understood from the theory part, you will read that, and wherever that keywords are coming, you will capture that particular portion only. I hope these principles of management, this one is clear to you with the case study. Here it is a combination of principles of scientific management and technique of scientific management. And these type of questions are always considered as hot question. High order thinking question. Hot question can be cracked. You can crack any hot question if you have the concept clarity. Okay. We are back to the next scientific technique. So we have discussed functional foremanship. After that, we discussed the work study. Work study consists of 2M. 2M means method and motion. Then after that, time study. Then fatigue study, TF. Okay, FT2M. जिसे भी आपको याद कर सकते हैं, you please remember in that way. The next one is third one, standardization and simplification of work. What do you mean by that? Standardization. Now you might got an idea about standardization. What do you mean by standardization? Let's discuss one by one. Standardization and simplification. Scientific management. So let's see that. What is that? Scientific management always emphasizes on maintaining standards relating to every step of business, everywhere in the business. What should be there? Yes, standard should be there. A particular level of standard. That may be standard in the method of doing the work, manufacturing process, maintaining the records. Everywhere there should be a standardization. Standardization of output is possible if standards are maintained. Then only, right from the selection of the tools, equipments, machine to use, maximize the output by keeping in mind the quality of the standards, the quality standards. We have to see all this. Standardization of output is possible if the standards are made right from the selection of tool. If a tool is a standardized tool, machine is standardized, nothing to worry. So the tools, equipments, and the machine to use, all this, if you select a standardized machine, will help you to maximize the production, maximize the output. That can be. Then what is, you can maintain the quality standard also. So that is right from the beginning, selection of tools. Tools may one of the major thing is equipment and machine. Okay. Standardization does not mean only quality standard, but it refers to setting up standards for size, type, and weight. Everywhere you have to maintain the standard. Not only selecting the tools, it means only quality standard, but it refers to setting up standards for size also you can, type also, and weight also. Everywhere there should be standard. Anything you are, suppose for example, a mobile phone or a laptop, there will be a standard size. And some commodities we consider the type, there will be standard type. In case of ready-made garment clothes, extra large, double extra large, like that, there will be types. And some commodities it will be weighed. So there will be standardized weight. Never we can see that take a chips or a biscuit of 5 kilogram. We can see biscuit maximum can be 100 gram, 200 gram, 500 gram. So everywhere a standard weight should be there. So standardization is must. If the commodities or the basic things are selected or the tools, machines, if we select that in a very standard way, then our finished product can also maintain the quality in the standards in the quality or in the quality standard and any output, whatever may be. Standardization refers to the determination of work that can be done by the average worker in working day. Through the standardization, we can also able to know that on a particular day, per worker, how much work they will be able to complete. It is called as per day's work. They will not be getting overburdened. The standard task acts as a norm for worker. That is the rule. So if time we are taking standard time, 8 hours per day, 1/3 of the day. If no standard is set, the worker may work below his efficiency. If we are not setting a standard, 8 hours not. Few people will leave after 5 years, few will leave after 6 hours. So efficiency will be less. On the other hand, simplification aims at unnecessary diversity of product. Through simplification, what we should understand, unnecessary diversity of product should not be there. If you take a mobile charger, there will not be 100 types of mobile charger. They are maintaining or they are releasing only maximum 2 to 3 types of standard type of mobile chargers. So almost all the mobiles in the market will fit into that mobile charger. What it is known as simplification. Simplification, what we do, unnecessary diversity of the product will be eliminated. We will not take. I hope you are clear with the standardization and simplification of work. So that was the third one. After third one, we are moving ahead into fourth one. I hope you are clear with the standardization. So determination of the work that can be, in case of a factory, there should be standardized work time. That will give them a quality standard in the output. They will not be getting tired, etc. if they are working for a standard time. Next one is number 4, that is differential piece wage system. Very interesting topic this is. Differential piece, then from the name only. Wage rate should be fixed in such a way that an average worker is induced to attain standard output. That way. Their wage rate should be fixed in such a way that average worker is induced to attain standard output. Everybody will be working to achieve the standard output. So everybody can get the minimum wages. Taylor suggested the payment of wages on the basis of performance and not on time. But what Taylor is saying, on the basis of the performance, give them. Those who manufacture or produce maximum, those who put maximum effort, give them more wages. Under differential piece rate system, Taylor advocated 2 rates of wages to an employee on the basis of their efficiency. He said not one method. There will be 2 different piece rate system. What is that? 2 rates of wages. He suggested a higher rate of worker who produce standard output or more, and lower rate for those worker who produces less than the standard output. Higher wages is an incentive to a worker to reach or the above standard. For example, I will explain. Every day worker has to produce, suppose 1 hour 1 unit. So they will be working for 8 hours. 8 hours they have to produce 8 units. That is minimum. So 1 unit they will get 100 rupees. So 8 units they are getting 8 into 100, that is 800 rupees they will be getting. Okay. Now what the Taylor suggesting, he said that if any worker, they manufacture above 8 unit, then each unit, whatever may be, they will be getting extra payment. That means minimum 8 per unit 100. Now more than 8, every unit they will get. Suppose instead of 8, a worker got 10 unit. Then per unit he should get 110 rupees. That means how much? He will be getting 1,100. Hardly he produces 2 unit extra. But you can see the payment, there is a high increase. Only to motivate the employees to complete the task on time and to motivate them to engage more into their work. That is a major aim of differential piece wage system. So what he suggested? He suggested a higher rate of worker who produces standard output or more. Even though they produce 8, they get only 100. But above 8 unit, they will be getting 110 rupee. So definitely they will show that curiosity to manufacture more. Because of that, organization's efficiency can be improved along with the quality also. So standard output is compulsory to decide. And or lower rate for those who produce less than the standard. So those who produce less than, in my example, the standard unit is 8 units. Suppose one worker produces only 6 units. Then that is less than standard. Then he will be getting 1 unit, he will be getting 80 rupees. So he is getting 6 into 80. Only 2 units he reduced. He could not. Still see the difference in the total wages. Here he will be getting 480. Those who manufactured 8 units will be getting 800. Those who manufactured extra 2 more units, they are getting 1,100. So everybody will try to come under category number 3. That means less than, equal, more than. I hope you are clear with this. That is called a different piece wage. Different wage rate. Piece means on the basis of the manufacturing unit. Those who manufacture more, they get, if that is, there will be a standard manufacturing process or unit above the standard output, above that standard unit, they will be getting higher rate, and less than that standard output, they will be getting, or standard unit, they will be getting less than the standard rate. I hope you are clear with this. That is the 4th one. Let's move into the 5th one. So if we take work study, all that separately, all the 4, separately, then there can be 8 types. But if we are taking that as entire work study, then there will be only 5 types. That is, fifth one is mental revolution, a very important concept. It involves a change in the attitude of workers. Yesterday we discussed that, and management towards one another from competition to cooperation. What they are saying, management and worker, they cannot compete each other. They have to be in cooperation, work together. And management should feel that workers are there and should take care of the workers. Workers should be that we are working for ourselves along with the management to achieve the same, the path, the target for both of them should be same. Both should realize that they require one another, that only with a mutual understanding they have to move. This attitude will be good for both of them, because if both of them work in a very cooperative way, what can happen? They can achieve their target very easily, and a part of the profit can be given to the worker also, and the organization also can achieve its target. So it is good for both of them, worker and organization. Let's recapitulate the scientific techniques of by F.W. Taylor. So which are they? First, let's see that functional foremanship. Functional foremanship means there are, this is the work classification, how the work will be done in an organization. So there are 2 departments, planning and production in charge. Their instruction card clerk, route clerk, time and cost, then disciplinarian. In case of production, there is gang boss, repair boss, then inspector and a speed boss. After that, we are moving into work study. All these various roles yesterday we explained. Then coming into work study, there are 4 elements, method, time. So you will remember in that way 2M plus 2M is there, then F plus T, that is fatigue study and time study. Method is best way of doing a job. Motion means the movement should be eliminated from one place to another, because that will be unproductive. More movement means that much the loss to the organization. Time study means there should be a standard time to complete a task. Fatigue study means motion study, and fatigue study means they should get a regular interval, the workers or the employees. So this consists of, you can see this diagram is a very important. Time study for work measurement only, for completion. And fatigue study and motion study is a part of the actually method study, because method means best way of doing the job. Best way of doing the job means the worker should get a regular interval and the movement should be reduced. After that, we explained every meaning, and you have to explain all the 4 points if it comes for a 4-marker question. And even 3-marker also explain work study, you will explain all the 4 points. Now, standardization. Standardization and simplification of work. There should be a standard method. A standard time should be, or a standard rule should be maintained. Then only, otherwise what is happening? That standard rule maybe for the working time, maybe for the size of the, or type of the product or the weight, whatever may be. So that help them to determine the average time to complete a work. So standard time is very important. That is called standardization and simplification. What is simplification? There should not be a lot of diversification in the product. That will create a chaos in the market. Now, differential piece wage system. Here, we have to see the efficiency of the worker and those who are working better. And so there should be a standard output you have to maintain. So beyond the output, those who are working, they should get a high wages, and those who are working less than that standard output, they should not. They should get lower wages. I hope you are able to understand whatever I discuss. Then comes mental revolution. Both should change their attitude. They should feel that each one of them is working for other. So that is the another greatest thing. Now we are going ahead with the again, few more MCQ questions, whatever. So every time you, children, the tip for the day is that every time you learn a concept, take some MCQ, take 2, 3 case study question and read that very well. Try to understand the question and try to answer that. If you are not knowing the answer, again refer the notes, again come back to the question. That way it should be. Along with that, make these small keywords and you have to make the sticky notes, paste that in your study areas and carry that as a micro notebook, etc. So anytime you are whenever you get free time, just open that micro notes and go through that. So continuously you are practicing this, you will be habituated to maintain such type of tips. I hope you will be following that. The format, so let's discuss again these MCQ questions. The foreman responsible for quality of work, what we call them, the foreman responsible for quality of the work. So repair boss is related to repairing, disciplinarian will maintain discipline, gang boss will get ready with the equipments. So here who will be responsible for quality? That means one who inspect. So the answer will be inspector. So if you want to understand, you cannot do a guesswork. The proper understanding of the concept is very important. Rest interval. Rest means just now we discussed that. There are work study, 4 studies are there, method, motion, fatigue and time. So which will come under rest? Rest intervals in job are decided by which one? Method study means best way of doing the job. Motion study means movement from one place to another. Time study means standard time should be set for output. Fatigue study means there will be proper rest interval. Break should be given to the employees or workers. So the answer is fatigue study. Now, uniformity in production can come, uniformity, by using following technique of Taylor. Which one? Simplification, standardization, method study, time study. You have to just recapitulate the concept which you prepared. So what will come? Uniformity in production can come by using following technique of Taylor. So let's discuss one by one. What is simplification? The work should be simplified. That means there should not be diversification. Already I had given with an example of a mobile charger, right? There should not be lot of varieties of, we cannot. Maximum diversification should be minimized. Maximum diversification should be minimized. Okay. Now method study, best way of doing the job. Time study means set a standard time. That comes under time study. Now, what is standardization? Standardization means uniformity in manufacturing the output, or it may be in the size, or it may be in the shape, jo bhi. Okay, na? So there comes standardization is the answer. Functional foremanship is the extension of. What you mean by that? Because here you can see that discipline, unity of command, unity of direction, division of work. All these are the principles of management. That means modern management by Henry Fayol. So functional foremanship is the technique of scientific management. Okay. So this technique of scientific management is the extension of which here we are dividing work into production and we are dividing the work into production various departments. Everybody, gang boss, and then instruction card clerk, route clerk, disciplinary, all are doing their different job. So here it is from the name only you can understand that is division of work. Functional foremanship is the extension of division of work only. Because division of work also what we do? We divide the work. We divide the work. Here also we are doing the divide the work only. Now here is a case study, children. You can see the case study. Sanchit, after completing his entrepreneurship course from Sweden, returned to India and started a coffee shop, Aroma Coffee Can, in a famous mall in New Delhi. So peacefully you read the sample. But yesterday, every time what I say, before reading the question case, you have to come down and you will read that what is required in the question. Accordingly, we practice or our brain. We train the brain that a question ka answer dona. Identify and explain any two techniques of scientific management. Any two techniques. Right now, I taught you 5 techniques. So in that 5 may work study mein there are 4 also. 4 again. 4 elements of work study also included. Okay. Identify and explain any. So total we can say 8 techniques of scientific management. Identify and explain any 2 techniques of scientific management used by Sandhya to solve the problem. So let's see that Sandhya is having what problem. Let's see. We can identify maximum, but we need only 2 techniques here. You have to explain also. So identify, you will be getting 1 mark. For explanation, again 1 mark. So it is a 4-marker question in short. Sanchit, after completing his entrepreneurship course from Sweden, returned to India and started a coffee shop, Aroma Coffee Can, in a famous mall in New Delhi. The specialty of the coffee shop was the special aroma of coffee. Special aroma, you can visualize, imagine. And a wide variety of flavors to choose from. There are wide variety. Somehow, the business was neither profitable nor popular. His business was not at all profitable and nor popular also. Sanchit was keen to find out the reason because he came back from Sweden with a lot of ideas, etc. And after completing his entrepreneurship. Now see that children. He appointed Sandhya, an MBA from a reputed college, as a manager to find out the cause for the same. Why it is not successful, why the coffee is not popular, why he is not able to make profit. So he appointed the manager to know the cause or the reason. Sandhya took feedback from the clients and found out that though they loved a special unique aroma of coffee, but were not happy with the long waiting time. Their special unique aroma is there, but they were not happy with the long waiting time being taken to process the order. Once they give the order, the process time was too much. So that they don't like. Next one. She analyzed and found out that there were many unnecessary obstructions in between which could be eliminated. Unnecessary obstructions were there. So unnecessary obstruction is one of the keyword for us. So you should notice that unnecessary obstruction is one of the keyword for us. So let's come back to the conclusion last time. That should be eliminated. So eliminated word is also we discussed just now. She fixed a standard time. Yes, that is also very important for us. Standard time. That is another one more clue for us. Okay, so standard time. Fixed a standard time. That is another clue for us. Now, she also realized that there were some flavors whose demand was not enough. Few flavors are like that. No one is demanding that. Okay, so that is another point. She also decided to stop the sale of such flavors. So she thought that now there is no demand only. So that will be stopping. They will not provide that service. That type of aroma no one is ordering. As a result, within a short period, Sandhya was able to attract the customers. So here there are so many things related to coffee business. But from our case, we have to think about what we need in the technique of scientific management. So here you can see that children, here you can see that unnecessary obstruction between should be eliminated. So what is this? So if you remember, you can see that this is motion study. This is your motion study, right? So unnecessary obstruction should be eliminated. So that is one of the point she find out that we need 2 techniques. Now let's find out another. Fix a standard time. Standard time means we know what is. That is a time study. So time study means for every product to complete the output or complete the task, they have to set a standard time. Okay. So that is one of the, you will explain. So first, sometimes in the question, they will be asking, quote the lines and mention or identify the type of the technique of scientific. Here, they did not ask you to quote the line. But you should know from this line, we got this answer. Then one more thing, you can see that is which one? She also realized that there were some flavors whose demand was not enough. So what you have to do? There, the second last one we discussed. What is the second last point we discussed? Simplification and standardization. Simplification means what is there? Unnecessary diversity of the product you have to remove. Unnecessary. There were so many diversities. That means so many flavors. So they deleted that. So here comes flavors which was not. So she decided to stop the sale of such flavors. So there it comes what? It comes simplification. Simplification. So you can write out of these three, you can explain any two. I hope you are clear with this case study. Identify and explain any two techniques of scientific management used by Sandhya to solve the identify karo, then you will explain. Here we identified three, you can explain any three. Sorry, any two. Three we identified. And beyond that, we solved all the MCQs related to this type of question. So yesterday also, in the beginning also, I explained with a case study. You should understand how the case studies are to be identified. Here also the same motion study excess. Back to that previous case study. Here also explained that here it was principles of management. So principles of management we discussed about which one? So from the last line we got that, So there is a standardized process. Harmony not, science not the rule of thumb. That was person should not only scientifically select. Then here the MCQ questions. Almost 7 questions. Then the last we explained about again 5 to 6 questions. If you have any doubt, you can ask the doubt. Children, here you can see the answer also, method study, motion study, and so you always read the question. Identify the keywords. That is very important. So if you don't have any doubt, let's move into the next topic. The next topic for the day will be staffing. So from the staffing, the topic which I am going to teach you is the selection process. So before going into the selection process, let's understand what you mean by staffing. So I hope the screen is visible to you. Staffing means every organization needs staff to do the work. To do the work means everywhere some work in the organization. So the work will be having different features, different type of work. So we have to select right person for right job, the right time we need the person. So the whatever, suppose if there is an accountant vacancy, accountant. So what we will be doing, we have to decide what is the work. The job is accountant. Then we have to select a right person. Those who are completed the BCom or with a commerce background and with accounting. And whenever there is a vacancy, that time we have to select them. So right person, right job, right time. This word should come to your in your mind while you think about staffing. So we are going to discuss, there are various topics in that staffing, but for the day, our topic is the process, selection process. What do you mean by selection? The staff should be selected from various resources. or for various works are there, and on that, while seeing the nature of the work, we have to select the staff. So selection process is a very long process in the staffing. So children, tomorrow we will be discussing on this selection process. So till that, bye-bye, take care.